Welcome to Pacific Flight Services. You'll learn about how things work and what you can expect, who we are and where you are, what we do and how we do it, how we train you and assess you, how problems are dealt with, what we expect of you and what you can expect of us, and we'll explain some further study options you can consider. The company has been involved in aviation for 34 years. It's taught pilots to fly for more than 20 years. The parent company since 2007 has been Singapore Technologies Aerospace, a large, highly respected international corporation. PFS is a CASA-authorised school and a government-authorised registered training organisation, registered to train overseas students. PFS delivers training from beginner, ab initio, to RPL, PPL and CPL licences, instrument rating, instructor rating, night visual flight rating, and various other endorsements and ratings. The commercial pilot licence and the instrument rating are offered as diploma courses to overseas students. PFS currently has 10 Grade 1 instructors on staff and 2 Grade 3s. PFS also operates a fleet of Gulfstreams and Learjets in Singapore for Medivac and VIP charter. Our clients include dignitaries and global entertainers. The Pacific Flight Services Proprietary Limited Air Operator Certificate, the AOC, permits PFS to fly a wide range of aircraft to almost every inhabited corner of the globe. Safety is the most important single issue for PFS. Aviation is unforgiving of errors, and the risks are serious. You'll be trained to be a safe pilot and will be rigorously tested on your safety skills and knowledge. We have comprehensive safety policies and procedures. We also comply with safety laws and regulations. You must know the evacuation procedures in case of fire or other danger. The exit from the main training and study rooms is through the door onto the veranda. Exit from reception is through the main entrance. There's also a door near the reception desk. In the annex building there are doors at the front and back of the building. There are fire extinguishers near the exit to the main training room, near the kitchen, and near the back door in the annex building. The marshalling area is across Drover Road opposite the main building. Bankstown City is a culturally diverse suburb of Sydney, about 20 kilometres west of the CBD. It's a transport hub for trains and buses. Getting to the airport might mean buses or trains, plus a bus from the Bankstown hub to the airport. If you can use private transport, it's likely to be quicker. Principal Executive Officer and founder of the school is Rod Crane. Chief Pilot, Captain Terry Abbott, ensures the company complies with all regulations and is in overall charge of safety. Chief Flying Instructor Nige Clark is also a CASA authorised testing officer. We have 12 instructors on our training panel. Other key staff are the training manager who looks after diploma students from first contact to graduation, and the office manager. We expect you to fly an average of at least 4 hours a week. Available flying hours will depend on the weather. For theory, you might take formal classes, personal coaching, or study on your own. Usually, it'll be a combination of these. For the CASA exams you take, you'll also prepare written and oral responses for those areas where you fell short of 100% on the tests. You must attend the school for at least 20 hours per week. You must not undertake paid work for more than 20 hours per week. The standard duration for the CPL diploma is 83 weeks. Minimum required hours are 150, including 70 hours in command, but you're likely to take a bit longer to complete the training. Theory hours will be at least 300 hours. The standard duration for the instrument rating diploma is 17 weeks. The minimum requirements are 40 hours dual with a maximum of 20 hours in the sim, 5 hours in command at night, 50 hours cross-country in command. If you don't have the night hours or cross-country hours, that is if you hold only a PPL, you will need to build these hours in addition to the instrument rating course. There are formal classes, and you're expected to also study on your own. We expect you'll spend a minimum of 27 hours on theory and exams. The standard duration for the instructor rating diploma is 16 weeks. The minimum requirements are 40 hours dual. There are formal theory classes, and you are expected to also do significant study on your own. This includes preparing a number of PowerPoint briefings. We expect you'll spend a minimum of 150 hours on theory and exams. There is one exam, the Pilot Instructor Rating Common, or PIRC. To enrol, you must have an Australian CPL licence. The kind of learning involved in vocational education and training is called adult education. You're an adult, and you have a goal. You behave and study as a mature, responsible person. Also, you're training to be a professional pilot. That means you have a professional attitude. Professional pilots make command decisions in an aeroplane and are responsible for the safety and well-being of the often hundreds of people who sit behind them. You bring this professional attitude to your training. You manage your training and yourself. You will request any help that you need. Each flight you have will include a pre-flight briefing, the flight itself, and a post-flight debriefing. The flight will be a specific lesson for a specific skill or skills. For example, for CPL, takeoff and landing, or climbing and descending, or navigation. For each flight, you'll be marked at a skill level. When you consistently satisfy the skill and knowledge requirements for a particular stage of your training, you'll progress to the next set of lessons. You'll attend the school as required by the training schedule you have agreed to. You might discuss your training with the instructor you're working with on that day, or if you're not flying, you might do some study. You might practice your flight planning skills, and on many occasions, you'll plan your flight for the day and register it with the authorities. On a flying day, you'll arrive early for your briefing and flight, allowing sufficient time to discuss the flight, plan the flight, and attend your briefing. You'll sign out. You'll walk to the aircraft and conduct a pre-flight examination, and then you'll go flying. When you return to the airport, you'll sign off on the flight and give the particulars to admin, who will invoice you and you will pay for the flight, unless other arrangements are in place. You will then attend the post-flight debriefing and take any notes you need to. We expect you to spend time in self-reflection on the flight and to decide what you need to work on to improve your skills and knowledge. We also expect you to refer to your training plan to check whether or not your training is on track and to discuss any variation with your instructor. Your training includes both skills and knowledge. Skills include flying skills and general or ground skills, for instance like flight planning. Your knowledge includes the theory syllabus and your flying knowledge. You'll demonstrate your knowledge in exams and in flight. You'll be assessed or evaluated constantly throughout your training on a flight-by-flight basis and through tests and exams. You'll be assessed for the level and consistency of your flying skills every time you fly. When you sit for a CASA exam, you'll then write a report on where your knowledge was not perfect. A senior instructor will check your response and then ask you to explain that knowledge area. In the flight test process, you'll prove your knowledge in the ground component and you'll demonstrate your skills in the flight component. When you've satisfactorily completed your training and have demonstrated that you consistently meet all the required standards for skills and knowledge, and have passed the final flight test, and when all of the required documentation is in place, you'll be awarded your diploma. The appropriate authorities will be informed, and you'll receive your printed certificate. Although we're not required to monitor your daily or weekly attendance, we have an attendance sheet you will fill out each day. In any case, we monitor your progress against the course requirements and your training plan, so that if we feel you're slipping behind, and especially if we think you're in danger of not completing your course within the time allowed, we'll take appropriate action to get you back on course. If you have problems or worries, if it's a training or study issue, then you can talk to the training manager. He might refer you to an instructor or to someone senior. They might refer you to external assistance if that's appropriate. If it's a personal issue, you can have a confidential chat with the training manager. He'll determine if it can be resolved easily and fixed up within the PFS resources. If you're having trouble with your studying, you can talk to us. There's also a study tips guide you can download from our website. If you need to know your rights as a consumer or want to avoid being ripped off, there is an excellent booklet you can download from our website. If you're struggling with English or maths, We have procedures to analyse the issues and arrange any help that's needed. We check your attendance and engagement with training, the number of hours you've been flying, and how well you're flying, and whether you're effectively studying for and passing exams. If we see you're falling behind and are in danger of not completing the course, we'll have a chat with you and your instructor about what the causes might be. We'll discuss how you think this might be remedied. We'll update your training program at milestones. We'll provide any appropriate assistance to get you back on track. This may include professional, external help if necessary. This intervention process will be done formally and a record will be kept. In some cases, if the problem is more serious, we might address the possibility of suspension to give you time, or in extreme cases, cancellation. PFS has a comprehensive grievance policy. You can complain about your training, the outcomes of any administrative procedures, or anything else, including harassment or discrimination of any kind. Complaints must first be made internally by speaking to your instructor or the training manager, or in writing. If you're not satisfied, it may be escalated to an independent external mediator. If resolution isn't reached, you may approach the VET regulator or the Ombudsman. At all times, you retain all the rights conferred by the Australian consumer rights legislation. For appeals, you may appeal against an assessment outcome. The process is the same as for other complaints. To see our policies regarding grievances, you can download a copy of our grievance policies from our website. You can also read about the Student Ombudsman in the Student Handbook. If you don't have a copy of the Student Handbook, you can download it from our website. PFS loves feedback from our students. We like to hear from you day to day how your training is going and your experience as a student. If you have any ideas for improvement, you can put them in writing for us to take action if needed. We also survey our students at least once and usually more often during the year. It's important to us to see any trends, areas where we do well and should do more, and areas where we might not do so well that we need to fix. Surveys are simple, online, and anonymous. We expect our students to work hard, be professional, respect others, dress appropriately, be tidy, always be on time, always. We also expect our students to listen to their instructors and do as they say. Students and their instructors are teams. There must be mutual respect between them. There can be no offensive speech or actions. Students must listen to their instructor and follow their instructions and advice. They must always act safely, be on time to prepare for lessons, and do their very best to succeed in their courses. Instructors will always respect their students and their students' goals. They will treat students fairly, support them, give them professional advice, and do their best to help the students succeed. Pacific Flight Services has an excellent reputation for its flying training and for the way we treat our students. We protect our reputation and will take action against any person who makes defamatory statements or whose actions threaten the school. What this means is that students must not share negative comments about the school on social media. This happens extremely rarely. A student who has a problem can talk to us first, and we'll take them through to a satisfactory resolution. Although it's very rarely necessary, any use of social media to denigrate PFS or which throws doubt on PFS's reputation will be immediately acted on. You can expect PFS to deliver quality training in a friendly environment. You'll be respected, we'll treat you fairly, we'll support you in your student journey and provide appropriate advice. If you're progressing well and have time within your main course, you might consider additional training options. The Night Visual Flight Rating, NVFR, can stretch your operational options outside of daylight hours. You can obtain a multi-engine endorsement as a standalone qualification or as part of the instrument rating. The instrument rating itself is essential for airline pilots and commercial jet pilots. And the instructor rating has multiple benefits, including gaining command hours quickly, and also really understanding and consolidating what you've learnt in the CPL course. Because these are shorter courses, it might sometimes be possible for overseas CPL students who do well to incorporate one of these qualifications within their visa duration. If you have any questions or need clarification, please write them down and speak to the training manager. Thank you for viewing this induction session. Please now sign and date the student induction form, professional conduct agreement and the social media agreement to confirm that you've received information about all of the listed items and that you agree to the other terms. Hand it to your training manager or instructor. Thank you, and welcome to PFS.